see Sims, and we are back with more Code Realize Wintertide Miracles. So, last time we did the Nemo Alistair triangle date thing. That was unnecessary. Although I do find it interesting that they felt the need to be like, we're gonna make Nemo pretty for you, but still the gold teeth. But when he takes his glasses off and without the slumpy that CG, you're like, I'm confused. Like, I can appreciate that you tried to give us something, but it's still, why did we need this? We didn't need this. I didn't need this. Anyway, so I think we'll start Finis's story, and then we can, after Finis, because we don't have like a Finis triangle date thing, we have a Deli and Cece. We can do that one after Finis. And then, I don't know, maybe we could, and then we can do Sholmes, and then we can do the Watson and Hansel one in between, and then we can do the Cantarella story, and then we finish up with all of our boys. Sounds good, right? All right, so, wait. I did pick on, oh yeah, we are on the Finis one, okay. They're jumping out of the presents, that's so cute. All right, so, here we go. Who are you? Why is it not skipping? Who are you? I'm just reading what it says. You could read that too. Who am I? I'm thinking we're Finis. Yeah, that's supposed to be Finis. Okay. Who are you? Those were the first words I ever spoke when I awoke from within the culture flu. Oh, maybe it's me. I don't know. It looks like it's supposed to be Finis, because that's Finis. So I'm assuming, anyway, when I woke from within the culture fluid, and in all likelihood, that was the beginning of my tragedy. They were the words that completely crushed the faint glimmer of hope that Father clutched. Who am I? Those were the words that we, Owens, created and then destroyed, had to keep bottled up deep within our hearts. Are we just biological terminals created by Isaac Beckford to imitate his son? A biological terminal, the organic doll that Isaac created as an imitation of his deceased son. Because the main body that possesses the accumulation of his knowledge and memories resides elsewhere, each doll can be referred to as a terminal. Harsh. A vessel for Father to eventually become God. A convenient disposable doll that could easily be replaced. This makes you hurt, doesn't it? You're like, poor Finis! Wait, you were such an asshole in the fucking game, but now you're like, oh, you poor thing. For the longest time, I convinced myself that everything would be fine. And that even if I'm a doll, even if I'm not human, even if I'm a monster created in a lab, that even despite all that, I'd be perfectly content so long as Father would love me one day. I truly believed this. Until that moment. I love you. My sister, whom I hated the most. Father's daughter, who, unlike me, was loved by him. Spacey. My little brother. She too is a construct. A monster with a deadly poison gem in her chest, and capable of even touching others. I want to love you. She gave me love, gave me warmth. Yes, I'll admit it. It was the one I was supposed to hate most, my sister's warmth. And that turned me into a human being from the mere doll I once was. This is so heart-touching already. Our father is no longer here. The man whose longing for his family drove him to insanity has joined his true family in the hereafter. We twin siblings were left behind in the mortal realm. And the twins, created by the scientist who forgot how to love, found love and became human. Jeez. Makes me recall all the times I tried to push her away. I'd tell her to stop, but she'd continue on. I'd tell her to stay away, but she'd come nearer. I'd tell her I despised her, but she loved me. My sister, from the bottom of my heart. I love you. Oh, that's all we need. That's all we need. Oh, look, we made Finis normally. Oh, Code Realize. A terrorist plot that threatened the entire world, masterminded by the genius scientist Isaac Beckford, the modern Prometheus. He endeavored to transcend his mortal shell and become God, and in doing so, rule over all of humanity. His ambition was one of sheer madness, a scheme that sought to force the advancement of civilization by means of eternal global warfare. In the first phase of his plan, he wrought havoc and devastation upon London with the colossal flying warship called the Nautilus. And when the horrible event came to an end, newspapers from all across the globe were merciless in their front page reports. Isaac Beckford's war aspirations, a profile of a mad scientist. Did a distinguished young genius in a remote Welsh town throw it all away manufacturing weapons of warfare? Isaac Beckford's wife and 2 children presumed dead, the victims of human experiments? Each paper writes as they please, one-upping the last editorial on conjecture and sensationalism. Some bits and pieces are true, while others miss the mark entirely. However, I can at least say this much. Though only we may know this, Isaac Beckford was not born an evil person. He was a perfectly ordinary father who put his family before all else. I'm assuming we're me, but whatever. His plot that led to untold tragedies may not be something that can ever be forgiven. But what started it all was his desire to bring back his happiness that was torn from him. Not town from him, torn. And that's right. Our father wasn't a god or anything of the sort, but simply another human being. Beautiful weather today. A fine day for hanging laundry. I squint my eyes from the blinding light that pours in and quietly put down the feather duster in my hand. The sky beyond the glass window is high and blue as far as the eye can see. If I look closely enough, I feel like I can even see beyond the skies. It's been 6 months since Father and his insanity disappeared into the sky. As Saint Germain and the others assure me that I was welcome to stay here in the mansion in London. Wait. Saint Germain and the others assure me that I was welcome to stay there in the mansion in London, because here is in Wales, but okay. But after much consideration, Finnis and I declined their offer and returned to this mansion in Wales. It's the place where everything ended for our family and began anew. And so we walked the path of a new life in this hometown of ours. It's odd. Only a few years ago, I was alone in this mansion with my arms around my knees. The mansion was a complete mess when we first returned here. Windows were broken, the walls were covered in ivy, and cobwebs infested every corner, but ivy's pretty, even though it's damaging. But parts of the floors and walls were burnt black, and some were crumbling apart. Back then, this was all normal to me, but upon returning, I can only describe this place as an abandoned ruins. So for the better part of a year since coming back here, I've been spending most of my time fixing it up. Climbing atop the roof with Finnis, patching up holes, plastering the crumbled walls, patching each hole in the floorboards. Even my own personal quarters was moved to one of the renovated ones. My original room that was filled with dolls is left intact, but it brings back such a dramatic mix of feelings. I'm glad that they explain this here, because it's weird when she's like, oh, my room, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, but this isn't the room that she was. It looks totally different. There's no skylight. You know what I mean? Like, obviously you would have cleaned it up, but. So I'm glad they kind of explained that. They weren't like, because that to me is like, it's a loophole. Like, it's not really her room. She's like, my room that I was in, that was mine, is still there, but this is like, I'm living in this. This is my new room because I'm a new person. It makes more sense. And logically, you could have drawn that conclusion, but I like when they spell these things out and they tell you, and you're like, okay, good, because I was wondering. There was like, in a couple of the parts, I was like, but, like, it was just a passing thought that I was like, huh, weird, but okay. Anyway. Not to mention, sunlight always did have trouble finding its way in there. And there's plenty to be proud of with all the work we've done here. Like, in my mind, I couldn't quite picture the CG from the original, but I'm like, it doesn't look like, even if you put some stuff around, that this would be the same room. Like, it's definitely not the same in my mind, so that explains, because it's really not. So, perfect. There's plenty to be proud of with all the work we've done here. This living room, however, has changed quite a bit from before. When we returned, it was filled with spider webs and caked with dust. But after some thorough cleaning and getting the necessary furniture bit by bit, it now represents the best of our efforts as a place here that feels cozy and welcoming. I can't help but feel proud when I look around and imagine how dusty it used to be. If I didn't know any better, I think this house was always like this. It certainly shouldn't be embarrassing to have friends over now, I hope. I feel like we should have started with Finis's route and then been like, this is how we live our life, and then we played the routes where then then they come and take us away. Forethought. Anyway. Afterthought. It's an afterthought, not a forethought. Anyway. Finis tends to get upset around Lupin or Impy, but he seems fine with Shirley and Deli on the other hand. My heart filled with excitement and anticipation, I reached over to the picture on the table. Aw, displayed there is a single frame of a joyous moment. A photograph of a family that used to live here, all smiling warmly. A photograph from a long, long time ago. Father, Mother, with your permission, may I invite friends over every now and then? All materials relating to Isaac are supposed to be valuable, confidential documents of the British Empire. As such, they're required to be securely stored in the underground archives of Buckingham Palace. However, I was given special permission by the Queen to take possession of both this photo and an old diary. Lionheart delivered them to me and said,
A photograph and journal hold little value to us as confidential items. A father writing about his family with the warmest of words, contained within is such, and nothing more. Truly of little value to us.
He handed them to me with a smile, which was probably his own way of showing kindness.
He's like, this is tripe. We don't need this garbage. It's worth valuable to you. That's why I'm giving it to you. I'm very kind. Now I'm going to go make love to the Queen.
What?
In my imagination.
I want that. I want that. I want just a story. I just want to see the two of them. I don't need us involved. I just want to watch a side thing of just the two of them. Just to know that they're shipped together, because I shipped them so hard. He really does look happy there. In the tranquil rays of the morning sun, I stare at the family smiling in the photo. And that loving warmth that he was never able to regain, captured in this photo for eternity. It feels so gentle, so warm. But it also saddens me deeply. Whenever I look at him like this, my feelings well up in me and overflow, spilling down my cheek. What are you doing, sister? I finished my cleaning long ago. Suddenly an exasperated voice. Standing at the living room entrance with his arms crossed is a young man who resembles an older version of the boy in the photo. 'Cause, not exactly, but he is. My only remaining family member. What you doing, Bird? You're still just being quiet. You're not even playing. She's been quiet all day. You're so sad. I love him in the frilly apron. It's adorable. I swear, sister. Why must you be so careless with time? All the time. It's already time for 11's tea. Simply the worst when I can't enjoy my tea because of you, sister. 11's. A brief morning tea time, which typically serves as refreshment after one's morning work or studies. Or what? Do you not want to drink the tea I made, so you're deliberately... What? Sister, why are you crying? Oh, I'm joking, right? And then perhaps I took things a bit too far. No, I'm sorry. I just couldn't stop looking at the photo. Finis's panicked eyes immediately moved to my hand. Suddenly his shoulders slump in relief. Is that it? Don't do this to me. Were you worried about me? Huh? Of course I wasn't, you fool of a sister. A complete fib with no basis in reality. It's a childish one at that, and something that Finis wouldn't have been caught dead saying in the past. Anyway, you cry too easily. You really need to stop getting teary-eyed every time you look at that photo. There's no need to cry. Besides, because now we're happy together. Yes, you're right. You're exactly right. We're living happy days together just as much as in the photo. I make a soft smile and gently place the photo back. Taking off his apron, my little brother stood next to me and... Are you listening, father, mother? Isaac Beckford, after the tragic scientist who attempted and failed to bring back the family he lost by executing Code Realize, his mind kept intact inside a mechanical body so that he may continue his plan even after death. His plans were thwarted by his children, and he met his true end. Whoa. Look at how fucked up how fucked up this is lined up. They'll let him do that. He smiles gently, offering a prayer to the photo. His sister is out of it like always. She can't even handle the basic cleaning. One time, she peeked into a hole in the wall while she was fixing it, got her head stuck for an hour. What? She's even worse than me at cooking, and frankly, I doubt anyone would want to take her in. Wait, something isn't right here, Finnis. I don't think this is a prayer anymore. You really don't have to keep Mother and Father posted on those details. At any rate, come on, it's tea time, so... Donning his usual cloak, my dear little brother starts to laugh. That's what I've been trying to tell you. Shrugging his shoulders, Finnis heads to the kitchen, still laughing. Glaring at him all the while, I mutter quietly, Father, Mother, Finnis has been a real jerk lately. Say whatever you'd like about me, but would you at least go fetch the laundry while I'm preparing the tea? But, oh well. These little exchanges are fun and part of our happy daily lives. I collect the laundry and go back inside the mansion. A soft light gently carpets the hallway. Newly replaced floorboards, window frames that were neatly put into place. Even in this one area, there's very little of the old abandoned mansion to be seen. Compared to before, this hallway is immaculate. However, if we take the entire mansion into account, it's only partially repaired. We prioritize fixing the broken windows, holes in the floors and ceilings, and removing the burn marks. But most of the everyday wear and tear that remained is left as is. The little scratches carved into the pillars of the hallway, and the scribbles on the back of the paintings displayed on frames. I'm positive that every one of these details represents memories and meanings. This is our home, but it's also the home of the family that used to live here. Well, it's clean enough for now, so perhaps it's time to execute my secret plan. That is to say, I'd like to grow my own vegetables in our home garden. That's the plan anyway. Do it another time. We need to prioritize things directly related to our livelihood. Or so my little brother says, not seeming to care one way or another. How can I get Finnis to appreciate the wonderful taste of fresh vegetables? As I ponder how to go about my scheme... Hey! Stop, you fool! And that's for me and sister! I suddenly hear Finnis's angry yelling. Wondering what's going on, I hurry over to the living room. Hansel? And then... If it's Hansel, maybe we should do the Hansel and Watson one after the Finnis one, because that will lead to Sholmes. Yeah. Delicious muffin. Indeed, it has the proper texture and aroma. Ideal for a midday snack, wouldn't you say? Someone's here. Ah! It's Saint Germain! I don't know who was talking, so I thought I assumed Hansel. I was like, it's Hansel dropping in, but yay! Hansel! And Saint Germain, too! Yay! Greetings, Spacey. We couldn't help ourselves. I don't know the voice I gave Hansel in the other one, but like, whatever. Pardon our intrusion, Miss Spacey. Our guests are two members of IDEA, an organization that claims to be the overseers of history. There's Hansel, who once fought us with the goal of eliminating the two of his siblings, and Saint Germain, who, despite being a member of IDEA, has shared many an experience with us as a member of Lupin's crew. You know, I think I've grown accustomed to the two of you suddenly dropping by. Oh my, perhaps we should devise a more elaborate appearance next time then. Shall we wait in her bed? I really prefer if you didn't. I'd really prefer if you did. That's a triangle date right there. They need more of them. I just want a whole fucking like disc of just the triangle dates with just random characters. Saint Germain and look at Saint Germain. He's like, I like that idea. You said no. Okay. Sister, you're here just in time. Help me chase these blasted trespassers away. With all his strength, Finnis pulls on Hansel, who's sitting in a chair. Hansel, however, pays him no mind and maintains his relaxed grin as always. I gotta like get a voice for Hansel because we're gonna... Right then, and now that the mansion's mistress is in attendance, let us prepare more tea. I request seconds then, with lots of sugar and steeped extra long. Before noon tea time, 11's is. Normally, as part of our daily routine, Finnis and I would discuss our afternoon plans over a light snack. But sometimes, unexpected visitors join in. Seconds! You didn't even deserve firsts! What are you two even doing here? Oh, do you two like jelly muffins? Sister, you're under no obligation to be hospitable. These two are a nuisance and can piss right off back to idea. Shoo, shoo, he says. I watch as my little brother tries to chase away the trespassers, wearing a sour expression all the while. These two, however, aren't the type to back down from shooing and tugging. We would very much like to return from whence we came. But as members of IDEA, we're obligated to keep watch over you two. Is that not so, Hansel?
Hansel, he's so hot right now. I had to.
Oh, was that it? Sounds good to me then. Why do I get the feeling you just made up an excuse? Oh, no, we most certainly did not. The reason for our gathering around cups of tea, and the reason only 3 muffins remain, is all due to an important mission from IDEA. Liar! At the very least, the muffin part is a lie! You two eat like pigs! Phineas snaps at them, and Saint Germain responds with his usual smile. Then, as if to express his disinterest in the argument, Hansel bites into a muffin, leaving sticky crumbs along the sides of his lips. Hansel bits into a muffin. Bit into a muffin or bites into a muffin. Not bits. Bits is... These two coming here to the mansion is hardly anything new. In fact, it's not so unheard of to have them drop by at least once a month. Phineas's bad mood every time we have guests is a bit troublesome. But I suppose it beats the boredom of living in the remote countryside. It brightens my day to see Saint Germain and Hansel like this. Sister, I have an idea. The next time we make repairs, why don't we install traps to ward off thieves? Wicked, brutal traps. Oh, do you have a rat infestation? Oh, we have an infestation, all right. Oversized rats that love to eat our snacks. Unfortunately, Phineas, I do not believe that Hansel will make the connection. Out of breath and tired of yelling, Phineas grabs the nearest cold tea and downs it furiously. Hansel, meanwhile, caresses his gigantic fork that he claims is his little sister Gretel and squints toward Phineas. Can you just fucking imagine we'll show up in her bed? You walk in your room and there's fucking Hansel, a fork, and fucking Saint Germain, and you're like, I don't know what the fuck to do here. Laughter, anger, yelling. You two make for quite a variety of faces. Yes, this is good. Something truly splendid indeed. It's just so, Miss Spacey, you've become much more expressive yourself. Surely there's not a soul who would look at you two right now and think that you were dolls. Thank you, Saint Germain. Hansel, I'm sure it's thanks to you and everyone else who helped me that you now see me that way. There are many others besides Saint Germain and Hansel, of course. The people we met in London, especially those from Lupin's crew. I don't think I can ever thank them enough. I love our boys. I just want to hug them so hard. Bringing me out of this mansion and teaching me how to love. Helping me all they could so that I could impart those lessons to Phineas. None of those things could have been done by myself alone. Phineas agrees too, I'm sure, right? Well, I may not like you lot, but I'm grateful for what you did back then. If it weren't for you, we almost certainly would have lost sister. You may compliment me all you please. Oh, quit your creepy chuckling. Speak with a little emotion when you're at it. And perhaps you should ask before eating the last muffin. Ah, blast it! What's with him? If Idea insists on sending people over, at least send an apostle that understands me. Out of all of Idea's apostles, Hansel ranks among the top 10 delinquents. Top 10? Just how many apostles are there? And there are 13 in total. The delinquent ratio seems rather lopsided, but it's a little scary to think about, so perhaps I should ponder something else. Though I have to wonder where Saint Germain ranks. Putting that aside, I squint as I watch their exchange, and Saint Germain tosses a glance toward the window. This is a place of exceptional beauty, quite unlike that of London. Isn't it? Although I do miss the bustle of London sometimes. All one need do is listen for a moment. Outside the window, no loud voices can be heard, nor the sounds of automobiles. All that can be heard is the rustling of the trees and grass and the chirping of birds. At St. Germain's Mansion, you wouldn't have heard any of the other shit either, because it, like, there's big enough grounds, is all I'm saying. Huh, sure, there are inconveniences, but this place is quite nice in its own ways. Isn't that right, sister? Of course, it's our hometown after all. I see. Do you plan to live here indefinitely then? Yes, that's our plan for now. It's not like we have anywhere else to go. This seems a fine place to enjoy my retirement. So fucking cute at his age he's retired. I wish I were that rich. Is that so? I am relieved then. Do allow me to pray for this peace to continue on forevermore. Every day when the sun is at its peak, we go about fixing up the mansion. At night, we sit beside the fireplace and discuss our plans for the next day. Sometimes St. Germain and Hansel come to visit, and we discuss recent happenings over tea. Compared to the lively days in London, our life here is quiet and peaceful, almost as though time has come to a halt. But I'm quite satisfied with our everyday life. Life here in Wales is surprisingly tranquil. So tranquil, in fact, that sometimes I believe we're the only ones existing in this world. It's a comfortable, old-fashioned lifestyle, surrounded only by trees, forests, and animals. As I've said before, I'm quite content with our happy daily lives here. But if there's one problem I could point to... Shopping sure is inconvenient, isn't it? 2 hours by car to the nearest town. I know I always complain about this, but it's too far. There's not much we can do about it. Everywhere is like countryside compared to London, where everything is within a short walk. Turning the steering wheel with one hand, Finnis shrugs. It's already been an hour since we left. During that time, the scenery remained largely the same, with the same old grassland as far as the eye can see. I don't like going 5 miles out of my way to go to the grocery store, Jesus. I wonder if we've reached the halfway point yet. Even by Welsh standards, our mansion is in a very remote location. Before, albeit with the route a decent ways from the mansion, there was a stagecoach that passed fairly close by. After the nearest village migrated and became abandoned, the carriage station closed down and moved elsewhere, quite far away. So whenever we need to shop, the automobile that Finnis obtained is more or less our only method of transportation most of the time. That's the castle that Lupin stood on. Ah, I'm going to take her away. And like, although, oh, what's wrong, sister? You're making me nervous staring at me like that. Nothing. It's just a surprising sight every time I see you able to drive a car. Oh, one of these days you need to tell me exactly what kind of image you have of me. Making a pouty face of discontent, Finnis steps on the accelerator. During my time in Twilight, I was weighted on hand and foot, so yes, there weren't many opportunities for me to drive. I supposedly possessed knowledge passed down from father after all. Handling machines of all kinds is a trivial task. Then, what about performing maintenance on an automobile? Naturally. Oh, once we get back home, I think I'll do a bit of tinkering and increase its horsepower a little more. What about the gas lamp in the garden that's been flickering on and off recently? Piece of cake. I could have that repaired in 5 minutes. Then I'm sure your skills are also up to the task of unclogging the drain in the kitchen. How do you take me for? I can take care of that in an instant. Wait a second, sister. You're just pushing all these chores on me left and right. The sound of the tires driving over the dirt road echoes through the grassland. Before I realize it, the bare ground has turned to stone pavement. Even the grass and trees begin to mingle with buildings here and there. We soon arrive at the provincial town where many people gather. There must be more than this provincial life. I'm sorry, I'm just going to sing Beauty and the Beast songs now. I can't hear the word provincial town or whatever without just fucking singing Beauty and the Beast in my fucking head. Now I want to watch that. As we head to the center of town, we can see more and more people coming and going. The city was built in a traditional brick style, which lends to it a certain kind of warmth. Let's see, I bought the flour and milk. I think this should be everything I need. It's been perhaps an hour or two since we stopped driving. I continue to stare at the grocery list as we walk down the main street that becomes all the more busy as noon comes around. That only leaves the bricks and wood for mansion repairs. Ugh. Finnis, are you alright? Can you really carry everything yourself?
Huh? I'm perfectly fine. Why, it hardly feels like I'm carrying anything at all.
It's pretty obvious that he's doing his best to just bear it. It's 2 hours one way via automobile from the mansion to here. And naturally, that would mean there's plenty for us to buy while we're here. Flour, milk, spices, fruits, vegetables, meats. My little brother insisted on carrying an entire week's worth of groceries, moans and groans with sweat pouring down his forehead. Come now, there's no need to act so tough. Here, at least let me carry half. Why can't you put it in the car and then you think someone's going to steal it?
Out of the question. It'll all be for naught and an empty wallet if your feeble arms end up dropping everything. I told you I'm fine, so just look over that shopping list and whoa!
You're almost abnormally stubborn. It's probably because he's a boy. But on the other hand, I suppose I have my own pride as an older sister. Here, allow me.
Sister, I said I'd carry it.
Nope, at least let me handle half. Then just as I'm about to take his bag of apples... Oh, one moment, miss. It's kind of you to offer to lend a hand, but... A voice cuts in. I don't know who it is. One of our friends. Ah! So see, the Hansel and Watson one is a nice transition, because here's Watson, and there was Hansel.
There are times in which a lady should allow a man to show off. No, don't worry. I'm not trying to dally or anything like that. It was just such a heartwarming display that I couldn't help but butt in.
Who is he? Finis and I exchange looks, perplexed by the young man who suddenly interrupted. But before he can introduce himself, another voice joins in. Oh, could that be Spacey? Sholmes!
Oh, you two know each other.
Standing there with a grin is Lupin's arch-enemy, whom we've encountered numerous times in London. Harlock Sholmes himself, the great detective whose existence is known only by a select few. Sholmes just, blends right into Finis's route. We don't even, It's perfect! Oh, perfect order. Oh, I love it. What brings you to Wales? And who might your companion be? Ah, that's right. You two haven't yet met. And this is Dr. John H. Watson, my dear partner.
Pfft, says the fellow who disappeared without a word.
It wounds me that you would say such a thing. Surely it's about time you forgave me. If Sholmes says he's his partner, they must be longtime acquaintances. It's his partner, Spacey. They're in love. Let them be. Watson jabs Sholmes in the side with an elbow, and Sholmes scratches his cheek with a wry smile. But to think I'd meet you in a place like this. I'd heard that you left London after reuniting with your long-lost younger brother. Sholmes' hawk-like gaze directs toward Finis, who stands behind me.
Cat got your tongue?
No, it's nothing. For a moment I thought I might have recognized you from somewhere. But if it's true that you're her younger brother, that's all that truly matters to me.
That's correct. I'm just your everyday average person.
I get the impression that Sholmes may know more about Finis than he's letting on. But it doesn't seem like he has any reason to pursue his identity at this point in time. He simply grins and turns to Watson. Well then, in any event, I believe it's time we get going, Watson. I'd love to sit and chat over tea, truly, but I'd feel guilty interrupting such a lovely time between siblings.
Sure, whatever you say. Let's just hurry it up. After all, we've finally grabbed the tail of a certain someone.
For a split second, just the briefest of moments, was it my imagination or did I see a dark light flare in Watson's eyes? But before I could ask any questions...
All right then, I hope to meet you two again sometime soon. We'll have plenty to talk about next time.
As if to avoid any questioning, the two start walking at a fast pace. Right, see you. You two take care. Sholmes waves lightly while Watson waves his entire arm vigorously. They disappear into the sea of people. It seemed like they were in some sort of a bind. But clearly they didn't want us getting involved, so in the end, there's nothing I can do but see them off. That Sholmes seemed to know my identity. That you were the military tech advisor of the United Kingdom? Right, that. And though it's not like I kept my identity covert all the time, still resourceful people would recognize me immediately.
Finis is Isaac's son and the former military technical advisor of the British government. On the record, he's treated as having gone missing during the Nautilus incident. Even now, Queen Victoria herself claims as much. But, frankly, the situation of his identity is quite precarious. There's no need to worry, sister. What happened in the past stays in the past. This is not Las Vegas. It's not how it works. Now we're just brother and sister living in the countryside of Wales. Right. And that aside... Suddenly, Finis sets down the large bags and stares intently at me. Well, stare isn't quite right. It's really more like a glare. What is it, Finis? Sister, you certainly have a lot of male acquaintances, don't you? Do I? That never really occurred to me. Oh, it's occurred to me, though. Lupin, Saint Germain, Helsing, Professor Stein, Ignoramus Impey, and that Hansel dolt. Every one of them is dangerous in their own way. You should be more cautious. Blast it. It's great that your poison is gone, but clearly plenty of problems remain. I can't help but make a wry smile as I watch my little brother in his discontent. Come on, Finis. We should be getting going soon. I'll carry half the bags. Oh, there you go again. I told you I'd carry them, sister. I snatch away a few bags despite his complaining and slowly begin walking. It's around the time when the sun has finished its shift and getting ready to retire behind the mountains for the day. Showered by the delicate glow of the diminishing sunlight, we make our way back home. Tim got in the way. We made our way way home. The scenery on the way back is no different. Trees, more trees, and grass. The peaceful scenery and gentle vibrations of the car are like a lullaby. How can one not get sleepy during a drive like this? Sleep talking rhetorical questions? Hey, you've got some strange talents, sister. We're almost home, though, so you best wake up sooner or it'll be a pain to rouse you. What? A sudden sharp break jolts me forward. It's quite a way to wake someone. But before I can complain, I freeze. Making a serious expression, Finis stops the car and glares at our home ahead of us. People are there. Who's there? Who is it? Who's there? Show yourself! Is it Van Helsing? Huh. So you finally noticed. But to only notice at such a close distance. Oh, it was Alistair. I thought it was Van Helsing. Because you know what? This is like when Van Helsing and Deli were here. And we drive up. And he's like, who's there? I thought it was going to be... But see, this is a nice transition from the Nemo Alistair, because Alistair is in there. See, look! Oh my god, it's like I didn't. I just wanted to get that one out of anyway. Perhaps you've grown too accustomed to the quiet of the countryside. You were, after all, the leader of the intelligence agency. I thought for sure it was Van Helsing and Deli. I thought our friends were going to be in this. I mean, because Saint Germain was here. His white hair dyed in the ominous evening light. An elderly gentleman stands in our garden as if he were waiting to welcome us. Alistair? It is I. It's been quite some time, you two. I don't know the voice I gave him. What the fuck? I can't. Why are you here? I heard you were missing. Today's turned out to be quite the social day. This man was Finis' subordinate and a leading member of Twilight, Jimmy A. Alistair. Oh, he's Moriarty. That's right. I forgot about that. He fiddles with his mustache as he stares at us. Huh. It's been so long I thought you'd drop dead along a road somewhere. So what is it you want, Alistair? As far as I know, I have no business with you. I understand how dear life with your sister is to you, but do try to be kind to an elderly man who came all this way to visit. Allow me to congratulate you on your new lives after finally leaving the nest. But we're back in the nest. What are you getting at? Oh, was that inappropriate? My apologies, but there's no need to keep up your guard. Since I was in the area, I thought it best to come by and inform you. Inform us about what? A special intelligence agency of the British Empire, Twilight, is no more. Alistair delivers the news slow, studying our responses all the while. Oh, shouldn't we already know that? Special Intelligence Agency Twilight. The organization that symbolizes the dark deeds of the United Kingdom passed down to Finis by his father and founder, the scientist Isaac. This organization that was thought to have been heavily involved in the Nautilus incident was officially disbanded by the Queen's orders. As a result, the government took control of all personnel, information, and equipment that Twilight owned. The government is now in the middle of great disputes over the management of this massive influx. I mean,
We've gotten our hands plenty dirty in the past, after all. And there are those who'd rather keep the details away from the public eye, and those who seek this information for political and personal gain. It's like a cackle of hyenas swarming around a corpse. Truly a battle worth witnessing in the making.
he seems to delight in the chaotic situation. Always the twisted sense of humor from this man. But despite the report, Finis only waves his hand in an annoyed dismissal. Oh well, it's to be expected. That organization has served its purpose. And whatever happens to Twilight now has nothing to do with me. They can do whatever they please.
Oh my, you're quite unsympathetic for its former head.
As Finis makes a slight grimace, Alistair smirks.
But you say that Twilight has nothing to do with you. Is that true, I wonder?
What do you mean?
And no matter how one tries to have a change of heart, it's impossible to completely sever the ties that bind them to their past. Whether that past be good or bad.
Apparently not intending to explain what those cryptic words mean, he simply laughs. Instead, he continues on to the next topic.
But in all actuality, Finis, I do indeed have business with you today. You remember what I said to you back when we escaped the Nautilus, do you not?
I believe so.
We're about to evacuate as well. When you discover what lay at the ends of solitude, please let me know. A lonesome doll that should have lost its all after being discarded by its own creator, his own father. So what did you find at the ends of your solitude? It's rather late, but I would be ever grateful if you'd tell me your answer.
I don't know what's happening to his voice. Whatever. What are you going to do, Finis? A brief silence. His eyes closed and arms crossed, Finis remains silent. Alistair waits patiently all the while. The old Finis would probably have said that he's under no obligation to answer. But instead, he gives a different response. It's thanks to you that we were able to send Father and the Nautilus into the sky. Fine, I'll give you your answer.
Oh, I must say, this wasn't the response I was expecting. I'd assumed you would refuse.
You just keep pestering me if I did. Come, let's hurry it up. Quickly before I change my mind. Finis turns towards the forest and begins to walk, urging Alistair to follow. I found this odd and began following behind. Hold it. It would be best if you stayed, sister. Finis stops me. Why? And just because, all right. Stay away, no matter what. I thought about eavesdropping for a moment, but Finis might not notice me, but Alistair surely would. All right, well. And so I wait around for a while, feeling rather bored, and then. Bored? You could have put the groceries away.
Sorry to keep you waiting, Spacey.
The two return, each with an expression that contradicts the other. Finis wears a scowl as if in a rotten mood. Alistair, on the other hand, is grinning widely as if having a wonderful time.
Well, I never did I think I'd hear such words from the mouth of Finis. It's not the answer I was expecting, but it makes the trip here all the worthwhile.
I have no clue what you two were talking about. I don't suppose you can tell me.
Ah, would you like to hear? It was truly amusing. Well, you see, it seems that Finis truly...
Do you always try and blurt out secrets like this? If you're done with your business here, hurry up and get lost.
Finis truly loves you.
That's exactly what he was going to say. Sister, don't you dare ask again either, all right? This matter is non-negotiable. Any further discussion is forbidden. All right, then. It's clear by how frantic he is, how much he doesn't want me to hear about it.
My goodness, how frightening. Before I get myself garroted, then, I shall take my leave.
Oh, can I offer you tea or anything first?
It's kind of you to offer, but I must refrain. I may not seem like it, but I'm quite busy.
It would seem that a capable hound is on my trail and is already close by.
The bottom of his coat fluttering, Alistair begins to take his leave.
I'd recommend that you two tie up loose ends so that you don't end up like me. Until we meet again, enjoy a good long life together as loving siblings.
He appears out from nowhere when you least expect it, as always. Finnis looks on quietly as Alistair takes his leave.
That blasted Alistair.
That's who Sholmes and Watson are looking for. Finnis? Oh, what's wrong?
I know it's nothing. It's late. Let's prepare dinner.
I nod and take the bags from the car. She's been standing there! Wait, milk is rotten now. Before I realized it, twilight had given way to a silent night. Ha ha ha. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this part up here. I know it's like, you know, a little shorter than normal, but I'm freaking starving, and this is a good place to stop. So, anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.